frequencies I am now broadcasting can only be received by the brain of someone suffering from hydroplexia nervosa, or, in more technical language, insanity. Actually, many Americans are partially insane without even realizing it. Partial insanity need not impair work or family life. In fact, insane gesture is...
I'm in love for the first time. I'm in love with your mom. Got a lump in my pants for her. I'm the son of fun. Making out, shacking up, it's just really hot. But your mommy, it's a yummy, something you are not. I'm in love with your mom.
Natural or artificial light are usually enough to keep this form of insanity under control.
So, I know not many people watch this channel, and I know that I've been lying to you guys about getting a strike and all this stuff, but it was for it was for the best that I do this, and the reason why was because, guys, seriously, you know, there's a lot of people out there with problems, like real problems. And I know who's watching this, by the way. You know what the problem is. I talked to you about it. And I didn't want to add to any of those problems for that person. Right? So I stayed away. I didn't want to have any conversation with that person because I didn't know what it was going to incite. And what I saw was real. What I saw was 100% real. I reached out to Anderson. I reached out to John Whitty, and I said, listen, it's not a joke. This isn't a joke. I'm telling you something right now. I cried over that guy, man. I felt so bad. I felt so bad for that person and the other person involved. Even when I would talk to Pete, I'd feel sick. Like not that she was making me feel sick, but I couldn't get the thought of that out of my mind. It was like seeing it was worse than seeing a car accident, a deadly car accident. It was worse than that, believe it or not, I swear. Imagine seeing someone that, like, you know, I throw the word love around, like, you know, it's no big deal. But when I tell you I love people, that's true. Right? Imagine seeing someone that you love. Imagine seeing something really bad happen to them. It makes you feel like shit. You know, you don't feel good about it. And there's nothing you can do. It's terrible. And then on top of it, there's another person that's having a problem. But tell you guys the truth, it's not a problem what that person's going through. That's Molasses, all right? Molasses, Molasses, I'm supporting what you're doing. I haven't talked to her since whatever happened. She called me that morning. I didn't pick up. I called her back and didn't get any answer, and that's when we found out from Anderson what was going on. And I called someone else up who would know, and they told me, yeah, it's true. This is what's going on. Which is good, because you can't be running around the United States like that. Life will get better when you get that under control. Life won't be so difficult or so out of control. Just like, oh my God, there's so many fucked up people. There's so many fucked up people here. Like damaged to the point where it's like, I don't think there's any return, because these people are all in their 40s or way beyond. So, for instance, you got the guy out in Florida, right, going live pretending like nothing's wrong, and I'm supporting that, right? So, guy in Florida, let me tell you something, guy in Florida, all right? Whatever you're doing, keep it up. That's the right attitude. You're being very positive, and I support you being like that. Enough of this baby stuff with you. No one respects a guy in his 40s acting like a fucking baby, 3-year-old. Except for John Camillo. John Camillo is the king. You know what? This is serious. This is serious. John Camillo is the only fucking sane one. The only sane one. I know people will argue that with me, but I'm telling you right now. If John Camillo had a knife, right? And he's like, Dave, he's holding the knife. He's covered in blood, right? And he's like, and he's pointing down a dark alleyway. And he's like, Dave, he's like, you gotta come down there and help me, man. There's someone in trouble. There's someone in trouble. I would follow John down that dark alleyway, covered in blood, with a butcher knife. Everyone else, I'd kind of be like, you sure? Like, what kind of trouble? I wouldn't trust someone like Holly Undead. Because Holly Undead, the thing about Holly Undead is that, I'm not picking on her, but she's a good person. I'm not saying she's a bad person, but she knows why she's here. Everyone knows why she's here. And then she'll lie to your face about it. Oh, no, that's not true. She might tell you real things that are going on in her life, but, that knife, trust me, if you go down that alleyway and she's carrying that knife's going right in your back. Right in your back. I wish that I could help. I wish that I could help everyone here. I truly do. I can't. Michelle K. Michelle K is another one. The only thing I can do for Michelle K is to, talk to her, but then it starts getting weird. It starts getting sexual in a way. Michelle, I can't be talking to you like that. I got a girlfriend, dude. Don't get bent out of shape when I'm telling you, like, yeah, you're kind of making me feel uncomfortable because, you know, this is kind of like emotionally cheating on Pete, the way you're talking to me. If a guy was talking to Pete like that, I don't think I would. I don't think I would enjoy that, dude. I don't want to have to step away from you. You're a funny person. I think you're great, but I'm not in love with you. Hey, Denise, how are you? I hope you're feeling better, Denise. Hey, Denise, guess what? Um, believe it or not, the other day I was on the phone with Pete, and I'm talking, and I hear "ba boom." It sounded like someone dropped a bunch of hammers on the floor, right? I'm like, who the fuck's carrying a bag full of hammers in the house? And I'm like, that came from the edge of the bed. And I get up, and I see Tino on the bed, but I don't see Wishbone. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Wishbone, but Wishbone's like the dumbest, clumsiest dog ever. And he looks like he's in the shape of a pig, right? He's not very athletic. He already broke his arm once, and now Wishbone's limping around again. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. So now I gotta line my fucking bed with either pillows, blankets, or whatever, because Wishbone is such a fat pig that he likes to sprawl out on the bed and flop around while he's sleeping and roll off the edge of the bed. It's terrible. Oh, great. Fuck me. You know, they were supposed to stop construction over here. Damn it. So there was this project going on over here, leading to 495 to get into the tunnel. And they said it was going to be a 2-year project. 2-year project. So I had to deal with this for 2 years. Bumper to bumper traffic going into the tunnel. Now that everything's fixed, they're like, there's going to be no more traffic. Look at this. Bumper to bumper again. I really do believe we don't need roads fixed. We don't need any wider roads, more highways. Or we need a humongous earthquake. And you would think that COVID would have helped out a little bit by thinning out the population, but no. Look at this. Yeah, I know, right, Denise? And Wishbone's the type of dog that, like, so I don't know if you guys let your dogs on the bed or not, but I let my dogs on the bed. My dogs, and I'm the type of guy, if I'm eating dinner, my dogs are right there. I don't tell my dogs to leave. I want my dogs right next to me while I'm eating. I want them to watch me enjoy my food. I want them to know how it feels to be me. I want to be one with my dogs. And sometimes I feed them at the dinner table. I know that's a big no-no, but not at my house. So Wishbone's the type of dog. All right. If you get him on the bed, the first thing he's got to do is start snuggling right next to you. He's got to get the perfect spot, the perfect snuggle, and the perfect snuggle with Wishbone is like I'm a stretcher in bed. I don't sleep like a fucking mummy. Like I sprawl out, right? I take up the whole fucking bed. So Tino likes to sleep between my legs for the superior warmth, and Wishbone likes to sleep like in between my armpit and my shoulder. But Tino's got this massive head. Massive head. It's like a rock. I don't know how he keeps it up. And he just wiggles and wiggles his way into the crevice between my armpit and my ribs and my shoulder. Then he'll flop his head up by mine. And then you give him 10 minutes, and he starts going, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." I'm like, oh, okay, Wishbone, what do you want? What do you want? How could you possibly be needy at this point? I mean, you have everything you'd ever want. You're sleeping next to the king. The guy who gives you fried chicken, the guy who buys you fresh blueberries, the guy who gives you cookies nonstop, the guy who will even let you eat pizza in the car. What could you possibly need? And I look into this dog's eyes, deep into this dog's eyes, and all he wants is for me to hug him and kiss him and give him scratches. This dog has it all. And the reason why we do this, or at least I do this for my dogs, is so that there's no doubt in my mind when the day comes. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we all go through this. There's no doubt in my mind that I did everything for this dog. Everything. When the time comes. And dogs are very, very lucky to have us in their lives. I know people say, oh, we're very lucky to have dogs. Yeah, that's true. But think about it. When will a dog ever take you on a plane? When will a dog ever drive you into Manhattan? When will a dog ever feed you pizza? It's never going to happen. These dogs are very, very lucky to have us. Some of them, not so much. I mean, you got people out there that abuse their animals, that don't take care of their animals, that do not like their animals. For some strange reason, they have animals. That does not make any sense to me. If you don't like your animal, give your animal up. Do not hold on to your animal and make it a living hell for that animal. They weren't bred for that. They were not bred for that. Yes, mine always have the run of the house. That's true, Denise. Mine too. No pizza, no fried chicken. You need to boil their chicken, Denise. You know what? I know, but to be honest with you, all right. So Lucy lived to be about 12, 13 years old. Right? For a Boston Terrier, that's about correct. For any dog, that's about correct. That's about right. It's a very short time for us. Let these dogs live. I mean, they're not work dogs. They have access to veterinary care. You know, I'm not saying feed them fried chicken every day, but give them a little something that they want. And again, I try to explain this to Seasons. I said, Seasons, because I'm always asking her if she's okay. Right? I think one day it's going to become annoying, and I told her, I said, listen, you have to understand this. And I'm going to explain it to you guys because I don't think I explained it to her very well because I was nervous. I believe if you're going to plant a tree in the ground, right, you can't just plant it anywhere. You got to make sure the soil's right. You got to make sure it's going to have the best amount of sunlight. You You're gonna make sure that's watered every day. Because if you don't do that, the tree's not gonna produce good fruit. You're gonna get bad. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that. Hold on, guys. Yeah, so getting back to that about the tree and the fruit. 18, wow. Yes, that's Denise. Your dog lived a very long life. You took care of that dog, and you did the right thing. And the fruit that you received from that dog was probably the sweetest, most nutritious fruit you could have ever produced off that tree. And it's because you took care of that dog. Because you whatever. And this goes for your spouses as well, guys. Your girlfriends, whatever, the people that you love in your life. If you do this, trust me, you'll have some really good results. You won't have a bad. You won't be producing, bad fruit. And as a man in a household, all right, a provider, you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be the closest thing to Jesus Christ. Now you're gonna say that's ridiculous. No one could be like Jesus Christ. That's true. But the example that we know of Jesus Christ, being a man who had a flock, who had a congregation, who gave the truth to these people, he never beat them. He never treated them like garbage. He never said, I don't have the time for this. He told them, he said, guys, I love you. I love you so much. I'm going to die for you guys. And that's what a husband's supposed to be for his wife. That's what a husband is supposed to be for his children. That's what a husband is supposed to be for his domesticated animals. You're supposed to be Jesus-like, regardless of whatever you think about Jesus. You think it's just a story, whatever. Think about it. Gay, black, white, straight, racist, whatever. Tell me about another man that you know, right? Or that you know of that's better than Jesus Christ. Tell me. Jesus Christ is the example for all men, in my opinion. I think that this guy is the example for everyone. And I told Pete this. I said, listen, I can't be mean to you, right? Because the guy that I believe that I'm supposed to, the guy that I admire the most, right, he would never do this to someone. He would never do that. And if I do that to you, I'm going against his father. And his father sent him here to teach us this. I can't do that to you. Guys, don't do it to your animals either. Oh, let's see. Lopez. As Jesus is the church, so right, exactly. And listen, here's the thing, guys. The man is not the king. All right? He's not the king. You don't worship this guy. You don't worship me. You worship God. All right? What I'm telling you is that if I am the head of the household, the closest thing that the only thing that I know is what Jesus Christ did. Jesus Christ was the perfect man. There was, in my opinion, there's been no man that I've ever heard of who's better than Jesus Christ. No man. In any history book, even in any comic book. No movie. Jesus Christ is the man. The responsibilities that I have toward this woman, right, is the responsibilities that Jesus Christ had towards his disciples. The responsibilities that I have towards these animals are the same responsibilities that Jesus Christ had. Because I feel that Jesus Christ was the best man. If I want to be the best man, I have to be like Jesus Christ. Or I have to live by the examples of this guy. I know it's impossible. I know that I'm never going to be as satisfying as Jesus Christ. I mean, think about it. Jesus Christ was a guy who said, "Hey, you know what?" Because at the time, people were very divided. People didn't like people based on their bloodline. Think about it. And Jesus Christ said, "I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I love you." They murdered this guy because he said that. He said, "I'm going to die for all of your sins. I want to do it." And just for the record, Jesus Christ didn't just pop up one day. All right. Jesus Christ was one of the angels. Jesus Christ knew that his father was right, and he did what his father asked him to do. How many of you have gone against your father or your mother or authority or whatever? Most of you, right? Because of what you believe is correct. Some of you did it as spite. Jesus Christ had full knowledge. Full knowledge. That's why you can never be like him. That's why you have to live by his examples. You don't have full knowledge. You have the only knowledge you have is the knowledge that was handed down by God. Just like Adam and Eve. They had full access. They had full access, which means that they kind of did have full knowledge, but it was a process, and they jumped the gun. They jumped the gun knowing full well what would happen to them and what would happen to all humanity. And in my opinion, if anyone's going to hell, if there is a hell, all right, which I don't believe there is, but if there is, those two. I mean, you want to talk about terrible people. Millions and millions of people suffer each day right now, this second, because of a decision or the wants or the cravings or the defiance of two human beings that were living in perfection, knowing full well they had full access to this guy. I don't have full access to him. The only access that I have to God is what's written in this book. It's not even access. I mean, will God listen to you? Yeah. Will God move mountains for you? Possibly. I think that God is going to do a lot of things for you. The Creator. Will He do it right now? No, that might piss people off. You want to know why? Because people want instant gratification. They want to know. They want money. They want where. Dude, if you guys die, you're not taking anything with you. You're not. You're gonna turn to fucking worms, dirt, whatever. Right? You're not living for that. At least I don't live for that. And I'm not trying to convert anyone. I'm not trying to convert Pete. I'm not trying to convert Denise R. or Cindy Lopez. I just hate these people who are against something that they know nothing about. Because I was that person. I was 100% that person. I used to think, what a joke. What a joke. And these people are all jokes. I think it took me about 30, 36 years, 37 years of my life to finally say, hey, listen, I'm not gonna be mean to these people. I'm not gonna be defiant. I'm not gonna be this thing that I've been my whole life toward people that I just don't agree with. That's why when people say, why do you talk to Botter? I never ignore Botter. I never whatever. I never. Do I participate with Botter? No, I never participate with Botter, right? Or the things that he does. But I'm not just gonna like ignore people if they're asking me stuff. And Botter does ask me things about God. That's why I believe Botter is actually Jewish, because he somewhat knows about God, but he doesn't really know much about Christianity. Yeah, you know what, Cindy? It's very hard to be like this, especially when a lot of people, you know, have mental problems and stuff like that, and yeah, you're right, Cindy. I believe that. I see things on this planet, and I see things. I'm like, wow, all this stuff is possible. Can you imagine if everything was perfect? And to say that that's not possible, I don't believe that. I had a friend that was telling me he was trying to explain the expansion and contraction of the universe and how the universe is expanding and contracting, and when it does this, it implodes on itself and creates the Big Bang, and then things start all over again. And if it happens so many times, anything's possible because it's going to happen over and over and over and over again for eternity, infinity. So eventually, there will be a perfect world. If there wasn't one already. So the city's not possible. It's ridiculous. I mean, think about. I'm not picking on anyone right now. I'm just pointing something out because it's relevant. It's relevant to people in my life. It's relevant to probably people in yours. All right. It's a topic that everyone knows about right now. And that's people who are trans, these transgenders, right? Do you think that they wanted to be born in the body they were born in? Think about it. They're telling you no. All right? They're telling you. Look at yourself and tell me. Do you want to be born in the body you were born in? No. That body has problems, weaknesses, faults. And you look around and you start saying to yourself, wow, it gets even worse. It gets even worse. And that's not their fault. That's not their fault. That's not your fault either. But in a perfect world, this wouldn't be happening. And I truly believe that people's wants are real. I don't believe that they're fake. I think there's a reality to what we live in. But you look around and you see these injustices in nature. Life isn't fair. Should it be? That'd be great. Imagine that. So we all try to live our lives to reach this utopia, have this utopic life. So that's why I don't get on anyone's case anymore about their religious beliefs or what they believe to be correct or a hope for a better world or whatever. It's not stupid. It's not dumb. It might be crazy to you. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't live that. I don't live that life. I can't imagine. There's nothing in my life that has ever made me feel, that I was born in another body. I mean, I believe these people. I believe them 100%. Well, Cindy. I think Archangel Michael is going to is going to go where he's not invited and tear things up. And like I said before, when Archangel Michael comes down with that sword, that glowing sword, that hot red sword, I'm going to take that sword from Archangel Michael and lop the head off of my enemies. Not because they deserve it, but because I want to. Just remember that. And as their blood is spurting all over my face and some of it's getting into my mouth, I'm going to say, I don't care. I don't have nothing to worry about anymore. Oh, the terror on people's faces, Cindy, when this happens. The terror. Oh my God. I remember having a Bible study one time. I'm like, I kind of hope I never see that happen. I hope I die before that. They're like, why? Don't you want to like not die? I mean, you'll be. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could live eternity knowing that happened, watching that. I'm not that guy. But you're right, Cindy. You can't fit a square peg in a round hole. It's not going to happen. And the wants of God, according to the Bible, he wanted to create, because he had created angels already. He created the whole fucking universe. The whole universe, this guy created, or this thing. He created angels. He created these perfect beings already perfect beings. Then he creates these beings, and he said, I'm going to create a being with free will, without any knowledge of what the universe is, and this being is going to know for sure, without a doubt, without me having to explain it to them or just give them instinct. Because we know that there's animals out there with instinct. You got spiders out there. No one's teaching these spiders how to fucking build webs, or these birds how to build nests. They already know how to do it. There's instinct. That's what the angels are. They were created with this instinct. We weren't. And he said, in the end, they'll know without a doubt. There'll be no question that this is it. I'm in. And I gave them this whole universe to populate. I mean, you think about intelligence. What other animals thinking about going to Mars? What other animals building rocket ships, creating wealth, and then going in a fucking glider into the Earth's atmosphere just to float around for 2 seconds, and then say, "We did it"? Oh my God! Yeah, you sure did it. Guys, listen. Street Life's here. Street Life's in Brooklyn somewhere. He sent me a bunch of photos yesterday. Hopefully, I run into him. I'm gonna try to give him a call after the show and let him know that let's meet up. Hopefully. He walked the bridge yesterday into Manhattan, and him and Mrs. Street Life, Adventure Baby, went walking around and got some lunch. But I told him, I said, why would you walk into Manhattan to get lunch? You guys were right next to Ignazio's. Right next to Ignazio's. No clue. No clue. He's the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Let me walk with him in his grace. And again, guys, you're going to be slaves. Your master is going to be the most understanding. He's never going to hide anything from you. He's going to lead you to whatever you want. And the reason why you want to be slave to this thing, because this thing knows everything. It's not like you're going to be sweating and breaking your back for this thing. No, this thing doesn't want that from you. God is love. And what does God want me to do with Pete? God wants me to love Pete. Does God want me to just make love to Pete? No. I mean, that's a plus. That's like drinking wine, right? God wants you to be happy. God gave us wine. I believe that God gave us most drugs. But the fact that we live in an imperfect world, we abuse these drugs. Some of these drugs end up being bad for us because we do not know how to take it. It's like an infant throwing an infant in a fucking jetliner and saying, "Hey, take off and land." And the thing's just putting everything in its mouth. This infant's like rolling around, it's falling out of the seat, picking stuff off the ground, putting it in its mouth. I mean, come on. I'm trying to produce good fruit with Pete. And there's a chance that it might not work out because we live in an imperfect world. Back up over here. What? Oh. I mean, to everyone who's ever made love before, it's great. But what happens when you do it wrong? It can ruin your life. It could ruin your life. All right, let me call Street Life, guys. I'm gonna try to meet up with him, see if he's around. I'll talk to you guys later.